Okay, the Logie. The Logie is a Scottish salmon fly. It's a low water salmon fly. Not used a lot in South Wales because in South Wales, although salmon are increasing, especially in our part of the world around the Bridgend area, and of course they've got a lot of salmon down in West Wales. But this is really a Scottish fly. I'm told, Scotsmen tell me that this is very good for sea trout as well. However, if we tie them for South Wales, as the salmon are increasing, you never know. Maybe we'll do okay with the salmon in South Wales. Okay, now I'm going to tie it for you. It's on a low water, double size 10. Just get things set up here a bit. It's a black silk, which I've already waxed, so I'll fire away. Don't need to worry too much about a good foundation on the fly because the it's going to have a yarn body, or what a floss body. I use a yarn which is just as good for floss as floss, in my opinion. It's got a tag which is the gold braid, so I'm going to put that on now, this little gold braid. Tie it on. I'll draw it through a little bit. And that's it. Now I'm going to park my silk up the front, 1, 2, 3, which is what I tend to do, and I'll wind this towards the back. Now when you do wind this, keep pushing it up a bit with your fingernail because it stops you having the gaps. This is an old gold braid I've got. There may be some better ones, but this is off the old salmon flies. This is what they used to be tied on, and I still like it. Okay, what I'm going to go do now, because it's a double hook, I went down in between. I'll take my silk back down and I'll tie this up underneath. Hope you can see that. That's very secure, tied up underneath like that. Nip that off and I've got enough there for another tag on another fly. Bear with me. Right, the tail. The tail is the crest feather. Not an easy feather to handle. From the back of the golden pheasant, I tend to put a couple on. They tend to splay out a little bit and get a bit mixed up. If you get them right first time, you're lucky. I'm just trying to pair a few up here. They tend to splay out sometimes, but we'll see what happens. I'll try this one first. Just have a look at it. Put them on singly if you wish. Okay, let's give it a try singly then, see what happens. One there like that. I think the pattern only calls for one, but I like a bit more than one. There's one. This will be the other. That's not bad, that's not bad. Sometimes on camera things don't go quite as you expect. I'm going to secure that pretty well, and then I'll nip off the surplus here. Cutting at an angle for when I tie it down. Right, then the next item after the tail is the rib. And the rib is an oval silver, quite a wide oval silver, which I'll tie in. The body's in 2 halves, so I can do things in halves, really. If I get this up to half, that's okay, because if I have a step, it'll be where the half is. And the rear half is yellow yarn. I use a bit of this, which quite honestly I get from the haberdashery shop. Works okay. Get it on. Trying to get the halfway mark, and I'll tie that down. There's my halfway mark, so that'll be okay. I'll take the floss. I think it's embroidery yarn. I've used it for a long time and had a job to get it sometimes. The only reason I think it's as good as floss, and it's certainly a lot cheaper. I don't want to give the impression I'm a tight old whatever, but I'm half Scottish, and if you're Welsh and half Scottish, you're what they call careful. Okay, that's the one part on. The front half is red floss. So I'll put that on now. And I'll tie this down. Okay, and I'll wind this, the front half. Hope my fingers are not in the way. Sometimes it messes up the focus a bit because the camera tends to focus on my fingers that are near the camera, which is not my intention, but I'm not much of a camera buff. Okay, we're up to there. Nip that out, and I do the rib. And the rib sets off this fly in my opinion. I think it's a wider rib than you'd normally use, but this is what the pattern calls for. And I finish up underneath like that. Tie it down. Okay. Straightforward fly to tie. And now I'm going to put on a beard hackle. And I tend to put this on in a couple of bits because it calls for a beard cock hackle, but I've got a very nice blue hen hackle which I will put on first of all. That goes up under there like that. Nip out this bit of surplus before I have a good look at it. Now I'm going to put on a bit of cock hackle, just because it gives it a bit of sparkle, but I do like the hen beard hackle. I like a hen hackle full stop because it's soft and it tends to pulsate a bit in the water. I'll just put that underneath as well. I'm doing a pinch and loop up under like that. Okay. And there's our hackle. Nip out the surplus. Now I'm just going to give that a wind, and I'm going to put a touch of varnish up under the roots just to secure it. Just like that. A couple of winds, but there'll be plenty of winds on this area shortly. Okay, now the wing. It's a hare wing, and it's a yellow wing, yellow squirrel tail, dyed yellow squirrel tail with brown over. I haven't got brown squirrel, but I love the brown mink which I use, so that's it. Take out a bit of squirrel tail like this, cut it off, with me. Take out any underfur, not a lot on this particular tail, just like that. Now I don't need to stack this feather, but I don't think I've shown you a stacker. So this is a hair stacker. You put it in, drop it in like this, just let it fall in. You see that? Tap it on the bench, and the hairs line up on the bottom. And then I get them out like this, lay it on its side, take them out like that, and you will see that the ends are lined up. Obviously the butts are not now, and that goes on like that. I don't stack too much because I'm not a massive fan of it. I like a more of a taper, a natural sort of taper, but that'll do that. Now, cutting out these butts, you've heard me say before, when you do this, you very often disturb the wing. Nice sharp scissors and a cut like that, and have a look at it. I look my side, yeah, that's okay. I like to see a bit of the body. There's not much point in trying to get an attractive body if you cover it with wing or hackle. But you notice the varnish, thin varnish again on those butts. That helps to glue it all in. And now I'm going to use the mink tail, a little bit of mink over the top just to give it that brown tinge. Same procedure, take out a bit that you think you're going to need, not too much, just like that. Cut it off. Pardon me. There's my bit of mink tail. Usually a bit of underfur on the mink. See it coming out? Get that out like this. It doesn't do any good. And that's the mink tail, which I'll now put on. Tie that over. One thing about hair, as opposed to wing slips, you can sort of position it and roll it a bit until you feel you've got it somewhere right. A bit like that. Let's have a look. I think that's pretty good. Maybe I pushed it over too far. So there we've got a mixture of the yellow and the brown wing. Nip out the butts again, nip out the stubs. Sharp scissors in. One lot. Another lot. A few more there. Take away. And they're out. Okay, again, touch of varnish for the Logie and the wing. Now, the Scottish salmon flies, you've noticed, I'm sure, are colourful, and I think it's because of the peaty water that they have. And this fly has a reputation of bringing up a salmon or a sea trout just as that water is clearing. Bright colour fly. Now, you'll notice at the stubs of the wing, there's a step. When you've got that step, build up the silk in front like this. If you go on it, it'll keep dropping off. Build up in front until you've got them level. Until you've got the stubs, that little step level. Like that. When you're there, you can now come over the head and give all your winds to secure the whole fly. And that's it. That's the Logie. I'm going to do a whip finish. A biggish fly, so I'll give it about 4, maybe 5. 1 wind. Hooking under my bench there. 2 winds. 3 winds. 4 winds. Okay, dubbing needle in the loop. Draw it all up and remove the needle carefully. That's the Logie. I do know some guys who put a jungle cock eyes on. The original pattern didn't have jungle cock, so I'm not putting it on. couple of stray hairs there, which I'll nip out in a minute or two. Okay, I'm going to varnish the head. Give the varnish a shake. Varnish the head and ensure the eye is clear. The method and principle of tying this fly is the same as a lot of other flies. So, you know, it's once you've tied this fly, you can tie plenty of other flies and vice versa. There's one little one there, which I'll nip out. Okay, that's our Logie. Well-known Scottish salmon fly. Very attractive, pretty colours, has a good reputation for bringing up the salmon when the water is just clearing after a flood. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did.